From a bedroom in Nashville, Tennessee, and not a cool bedroom, just a regular bedroom, you're listening to With Ben Becker.
For the intro, I want like a dun 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 dun.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now with Ben Becker.
Give you that clap. Ow, that hurt my ears. Yeah.
So you're recording video, you're recording audio, we're all good to go?
I'm recording everything, my man.
Oh my goodness. Well, welcome to...
Wait.
Now we're
Okay.
on.
Now we're good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cam Becker is currently with Ben Becker. And let me just go ahead and, put y'all to rest. We're not related.
No, I get asked that so much, dude.
I don't think we're related. Like, I couldn't tell you that we aren't completely 100% positive, but...
Right, like, it's not off the table, but we don't know anything for sure.
No, yeah, that's the best way I could put it. I literally, so I'm in Nashville before the ankle break, before any of that stuff, in a new house, or a different house, and my buddy Sayak, my roommate Sayak, shout out Sayak Das. He's literally chilling, just like with these two guys who just show up, and I had no idea they were going to be here. And I'm like, yo, I'm really weird with like an intro to someone who like, if there's a mutual friend who doesn't introduce us, I'm like super awkward. And so I didn't want to crowd y'all's space. So I was like in my room the entire time, like just hiding, and literally go on Instagram, and Sayak posted a story of you guys, and it says @Cam Becker. And I literally just sprint into the room. I'm like, you're a freaking Becker? You're a Becker, bro? And that was the beginning of quite the friendship, dude.
Quite. I would say, yeah, that's the thing is like, I remember he was being like, yeah, my roommates, they do music too. I'm like, oh, sick. Like, I'm always just like, whenever, I never like expect, like, I never have high expectations of anybody.
You just think
so
like,
I
oh
was
yeah,
like,
they
oh,
make
yeah.
music. Like,
Right. I mean, I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's. Can I curse?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not shit, but like, I'm sure it like, anyway.
I've cussed
So
way too much on this, dude.
I was just, it was literally just that. Like, me and Dom and Sayak were just like writing a song, and we finished it on acoustic, and we showed it to you guys. You guys were like, hell yeah, man, this is sick. And then I think you were just like, you like went back and worked on something of yours, and I'm like, I overheard something. I'm like, yo, hold on, like, what's he working on in there?
It was
I'm
that
like, yo,
weird.
I think you were.
It was
you
that
were working
weird
on something-
Halloween TikTok song, bro.
See, this reminds me of a spooky Halloween story. Dad, that's your cue.
I don't know what I'm supposed to wear for Halloween. Thought that everything was shut down from quarantine. Got all this money in my pocket, overflowing from my wallet, but I just don't wanna drop it if nobody sees on Halloween. I could post a pic alone with no one on the gram for the family. When did anybody give a damn? I only ever did it for the candy. Now I gotta go down to the store just to buy the damn bag. I do not want to do that. I really don't want to do that. I don't have a girl on my hip, but I need a bad chick if I'm trying to make a hit with the matching outfit. What's the point of this stuff if I'm wearing it once and I'm playing dress up, but it's not even fun? I'ma keep on making music in my room, tell my DMs are so full I can't choose. Then I'm gonna hit the party with Boo and match all that shit right on down to the shoes.
Well, yeah, I think, it was like some meme song or some jokes song or something
dude.
you're working on for somebody else. And I'm like, oh my God, this is actually crazy. I'm like, you're on a laptop FL Studio in some like roomy ass sounding room.
This is
and
weird.
I was just like, I was shocked. I was like, this guy's on my level.
I haven't really thought about that. Like, that was
above my level.
No, fuck you. The speakers and all that, like the PC, like this looks like a little studio setup now, but I just had like computer monitor, like monitors for audio, like from an office space that my dad used to have, and like the laptop. I was literally just in the bedroom with like a rant. That looks completely different when you walk in.
Yeah.
So you're just seeing me like on this little table with a laptop, like a big old.
I
gaming
loved it. No,
dinosaur.
I loved the whole like you were just making the best of what you had, and
The weirdest thing
making
is-
stuff that sounded better than I can do with equipment.
No, dude, the weirdest thing was like I could have chosen to do more, but I was at that time in this weird like, oh, if I don't have to necessarily go.
Yo,
Oh my
there's a big
gosh, I see that.
yo, hold up.
Dude, I just watched it crawl across the screen. It went all the way to the end of the mic stand. Like I saw it go that way.
Over here.
Yeah, dude.
Yo,
Did you get
there's a
it?
white one too. Oh, it's right there. Oh, he's shitting a web.
Dude, what?
Sorry, Spider. You
Bro,
died.
I think I saw that earlier and didn't realize it was a bug. I thought it was like a weird reflection.
I thought so too for a second. I thought it was like the light, like one of the lights I have.
Yeah.
But and then I realized it wasn't even on, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm so glad that it picked up all that.
Yeah, dude, that was so perfect. That's like it's podcast.
I was like, yo.
podcast magic, bro. You turn it on and it
There it
goes
is.
that way. No.
We got him. Anyway, sorry, where were we?
I'm trying to remember. I have no idea. It's literally like that.
I don't play with spiders, man. But
That took my entire attention span, bro. No, where were we? So we were talking about something about a setup, something about like I was choosing like I was in
you
this
chose to
weird
sort of,
headspace to like I don't need to spend on all that. I want people to see what I can do and I can do it with this. And then it was one day where I think my dad realized it was just like unhealthy. Because he was like, once I broke my ankle and I had to move back in with him for a couple months, he's literally like, I am buying these monitors, these Atom Audio like speakers. I'm not using them. You do not have a choice. Like they are yours, and you're gonna shut up when you listen to these, because you'll finally hear what you're like pulling away from yourself. And
Right.
I'm a really hard-headed person, so I was like straight up no, like that's stupid. Like you just wasted money like on it. And I remember hearing it the first time. We both just looked at each other like, oh.
yeah.
All right, okay, I get it. So like ever since then, it's been like full commit.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like you don't need the craziest equipment. I mean, that's a given. You don't need the craziest equipment to do cool stuff. I'm learning, especially like I used to like. I started getting into production like probably 6 or 7 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
And I thought for the longest time, and I still sort of think that certain tools are your key to like the
Yeah.
next level that you want to get to. Like if I want this effect or this certain sound, I need to get this tool. I mean, honestly, when it comes to a lot of things, yeah, that is the case. Like if you want like that warm. If you want some certain effects, you want the Sound Toys bundle, or if you want a certain reverb, you want Valhalla, or
And
like
there's like a certain level of perfection that you can't just find with like lower quality stuff. It's absolutely
Right.
impossible. And you have to get to that point of realizing
Exactly.
like, okay, I'm not just trying to make a cool sound. I'm trying to make the perfect cool sound now. You know what I mean?
yeah, like you can do the same. You can make the same patch on a synth in Serum, which you pay for, that you can in the free version in like the ES2 that just comes stock with Logic. Like you could do the same thing, and like it took acquiring these tools and using them and not getting that new magic key that I was looking for.
Yep.
For me to discover that it's not about the tools, it's about what you do with them and what's in your head and what ideas you have and how it's so like. Yes, it's so accessible now. Like everybody has Splice, everybody has all these plugins, everyone has Slate. Like it's like everyone has these things, but not everyone makes great music with them because it like
You can
Or at least-
literally take 5 sounds from Splice and have a song, but it's that for 3 minutes. So like, do you consider that good, or do you know what I mean? So I know exactly what you're
yeah.
saying. It just comes
and a lot of
hand
it's
in hand.
objective as well. But like you can do some really creative stuff with the simplest things.
There are certain things that I certainly cannot actually like create. I could, but like it would take an hour to 4 hours to make certain things like with the setup that, I have in my room in my house that you
Yeah.
can definitely find on Splice. I've
100%.
still not gotten a Splice account. I am like I said, hard-headed as hell. So like
No, dude, and
I-
honestly, like, keep riding that as long as you can, because like as much as Splice is a great resource and a great tool, like there are a lot of times where I'm like, I wish I just made that myself. Like
like it's possible to do no matter what, for sure.
right.
Which is why I try so hard to like keep that going at least. But it's just like something about me wants to hold on to like the ability to, hey, I can make that and it will be different sounds that no one else could use. You know what I mean?
Bingo.
It's never going, if you actually put in the time to make a sample, it is now never going to be heard by anyone or on anyone else's song. You know what I mean? Whereas like I could use a sample and hear that same sample on like 5 different beats, or find that drum sample, you know, in a fill.
I've heard a handful of songs where I'm like, I know exactly what Splice sample that was.
Yeah.
I've used it in a majillion things, and it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't ruin the magic for me. If
No,
anything, I'm
it's-
like,
you get a
I'm
little
like,
bit
wow,
of-
they,
It's like an Easter egg.
I'm like, exactly. I'm like, wow, like they used that tool in a cool way that I wouldn't have thought to use that. That's sick.
I know there's a couple FL sounds that legitimately, like I specifically remember being like, oh, Joji did on one of them, the on one of his new album, his Nectar album. One of the songs on there has that, and it's like one of the most popular like FL random vocal samples. And you can probably like, it's probably just a pack that you can find anywhere, but I love it in that song. I love it. It's cool that way.
Everyone can do it. It matters. All that matters is your ideas and what you can do with the
Exactly.
tools. Everybody can get the tools.
Yeah.
Like it makes it almost even now. There's no gatekeeping of like I can't get into this major studio because you can do it at home.
So with that, how do you feel about these new like beat making apps that are showing up where it's like you literally touch anywhere on the screen and it just puts something on a chromatic scale, like you just make beats from the randomness of the touch of your finger?
I mean, it depends on how much work that these tools are really doing for you.
100% of it, like 95% to 98% of the work.
Like the actual like creative, like the actual like chord progressions.
Yeah, no, I'm
and,
talking like maybe it's just for fun, maybe it really
like
isn't
beat
for
patterns.
people.
That's the thing, is like, what's your goal when you're using those things? And
Exactly.
like if you're just trying to if you have no production experience and you just want to screw around and toy around with things and like see how it works, like cool. But if you're trying to like actually make legit songs, you gotta get a DAW. Like,
Yeah, no, for
that's
sure.
how I feel. Now, I do think there will come a day. I mean, it's already kind of there. Like with the GarageBand app on everyone's iPhone, like you can do it, and it's a little clunky, sure, but you can get your ideas down just as much as you would do anything quickly in Logic or FL or whatever. Like it's a matter of, but like there's gonna be a day when the technology is just that good, but I don't think you can really replace a good interface and a good mic and a good MIDI keyboard,
because
and
that's something that your brain is starting like all of the thoughts. It's not
Right.
just a computer doing what you not caring, puts into like
Right.
the possibilities. It's you are starting with these things, but it starts with you on using them and creating them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I see these things now and it's like, maybe if I didn't do this like all day, every day, just, like to barely get by,
Right.
would I not, maybe I wouldn't care. But then I see like these new things and I'm like, okay, some like 14-year-old is going to sell like $1 million beat to Drake.
I mean, it's already been done.
I know. Like, and it's like, you can just toss things together. And that's not an issue at all when you're not doing that all the time. Sometimes it's good to just like toss some random things down and write to it. And sometimes you'll write to it and be like, wait, this is like dope, this simple. You know what I mean?
And that's when you take it to a real studio setting and like actually build it from the ground up.
Yeah.
And like, But I mean, I'm gonna be real, like apps like that, like I remember when I was in elementary school. Yeah, about elementary school, like 3rd, 4th grade, something like that. I forget the name of the website, but there was a website that where you could just like it had like stock loops for like
Oh, cool.
guitar loops, piano chord progressions, some beats and stuff like that. Like it was like it would be like categorized, like you'd have drum beats and there would be like
Yep.
this many options, like guitar parts, this many options,
And they all kind of
chords,
fit
this many
together.
options. Yeah, and then you could put them all together in this one like workstation thing and sort of mix and match and make your own little loops and stuff.
That'd
And it
been
was
so
very clunky and it was very spoon fed. You know, like
Of
it
course,
was very.
But like,
it
it's
was
one of the
very,
first
like,
things that get you into it, though.
and
Yeah.
it revealed the concept of combining layers and pieces and a bunch of things working together to it introduced that idea to me, and that's how songs work.
Yeah.
And like, because I remember when I was a kid, I never really consciously thought it, but I was always kind of had like I never really thought about how songs were made for a while. Like I always kind of thought they just existed. And then once I really got curious about like, oh, someone had to like go to a studio and like write all these parts,
Yeah.
get all these together, record them, lay them down, layer them together. Like there's so like when I realized there's such a process to it, and there's no real standards either. Like it's all so objective. I thought it was or so subjective. I thought it was so objective, and like there was one person that it all went
Yeah,
through.
somebody
but,
just snapped
know,
their finger and there was a
but-
new one.
Yeah, but like apps like that, like when I was a kid, like even though everything is very spoon fed to you, like it sparked my interest, and I didn't even realize it at the time. I was just having fun, and like me and my buddy Jason from elementary school, shout out to Jason Greenberg.
Hey,
But
shout out Jason.
you
You got 4 people listening all
Yeah,
about you, Jason.
But no, me and him, like we had a little band
Yeah.
when we were in elementary school, and we would like make songs and like burn CDs. It was we would never really recorded anything. We just kind of used websites like that and just kind of made loops and put
Yeah.
them together, and like you know the whole idea of like having a musical product that you're making. Well, I was very interested in that when I was very young, and I didn't really realize it until like a decade later, and I started picking it up. But anyway, yeah, no, apps like that, like they do help when it comes to like exposing for
An absolute beginner.
muggles.
Yeah.
the muggles but you know, exposing
I don't
the
know. I
absolute
actually
beginners.
don't know that word. Otherwise, I would have played in.
It's a Harry Potter reference.
Oh, I suck.
Non-wizards are muggles. but
Okay,
anyway.
okay.
Yeah. But no, it's like to for people who are just beginners or just curious about how it would work, like that's a cool way to expose you to the process. But if you're trying to do something serious, like get a DAW. Like,
That makes perfect sense too. I think it was really cool what you said, like about not really understanding that music just became or didn't just become a thing. Because like I guess I saw that differently a little bit really young, because both of my parents were musicians. Dad was doing some of the production stuff when I was really young, and my mom was doing like recording. So I like always saw like pieces of music being made, but I don't think I ever put 2 and 2 together with like someone having to like it's really music is something that just comes right at the beginning of life. You don't just you're not introduced to music, you know, like at 5
Right.
usually. You've heard some random melody somewhere. So like you never think about it as something that has to be created. And it's funny, like for the people who start to create it, it never really becomes like that task unless they fall into something that demands something other than the true like talent or artistry, you know, that comes with the comfort of that. But everybody that comes into it doesn't really get tired either. It's like it always stays something that even the people who are putting all that time and effort into it, they don't look back and go, oh, I had to do all that. Like it's just a thing that they made now and they love. You know what I mean? There's-
exactly. Like with us, we put out probably like maybe at best 25% of the music that we make.
Oh yeah,
like,
at best.
and
at absolute
but
best.
but we don't regret all the time spent working on the songs that we never put out or never will show anybody
No.
because that's just reps, you know,
It's
like it's
exactly.
just working the muscles. It's just getting it stronger because like in the learning and experimenting, because once you have an idea, and like that's what I'm learning too is like I thought like, and I always try to like work so hard to like calculate a good song and like calculate a good idea when I'm noticing that the songs that I'm the most proud of and that I end up putting out or end up like really enjoying are the ones that kind of just happened without having
Yeah.
to try. Like, it's so weird. Like you try so hard every day when you sit down to like manufacture that magic moment when
And then-
it's so unpredictable. It's
Yep,
so unpredictable.
like, dude, it's crazy that it's always the ones without the pressure where you're just goofing off too. Like there's never a point where it's really the one that you were worried about doing. It's like if you have any possible like overthinking going on, you're just
It's probably not the song.
Yeah, you're making a song that your actual like instincts wouldn't just do. And then it's not as like
It's not you.
Yeah, it's not just the new thing that comes out of just a singular person or a group of like creatives. So like you have to almost find that enjoyment of it at all times or you're never going. That pressure takes away a lot of the coolest parts of the creative. It's just
You got to love the process.
it's so weird. Speaking of creative, I do believe we have a fun little how would I say it? Segment of
Okay.
Cam Becker with Ben Becker.
Oh, yeah.
I have 2 links sent to me, I believe, that I get to react to.
Yeah, honestly, like I was just okay. Backstory for the audience: before he called, I just laid down this little guitar part, and I'm trying to decide. And then I ended up like chopping it up and like putting it through a bunch of effects and stuff like that. And I'm trying to decide between it being played one way and having a certain feel, and it being played another way and having a certain feel. And it's all kind of choppy, but yeah, I trust Ben's instincts and. I know he's like not too close to it like I am, you know.
I've got
whenever
that
we start something
separation,
new-
boy.
Yeah, like a lot of times, like you want to be so self-sufficient. You want to be like you want to just be able to say yes or no on your own,
But you need a couple mirrors. Like a couple things just pointing back at you like, hey, I would do that this way, because that doesn't mean do it this way. It just means, oh, that's how another listener hears it. This is going to be
100%.
fun. This will be a fun little conversation. Did you
Yeah.
email those to me?
Yeah, I emailed them to you
Alright,
just
let
on
me
Google
find that.
Drive, but yeah, I literally like just started this today, so
Okay.
it could be something, it could be nothing, but yeah, I like the chord progression. It's like a sample that I found that I kind of ended up playing over and kind of layering, but
No subject, loop 1 and loop 2. So I do wonder if this is going to play in my headphones or I might have to take a little pause moment to get this to work.
Logic is not used to recording 21 straight minutes, so it keeps like going over and over.
Oh
and
no,
over.
is it doing all right?
No, it's fine. It's
Okay.
fine. It's fine. I'm just like, I'm like, do I need to lengthen the project a bit? And I'm like, nah, it's got it.
I feel you. Now I've got
We're at bar 700 at this point.
I might have to like turn off the Zoom call and jump back in where you get like my reaction afterwards, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and
I
you
can
just cut that
react
in post.
here. Yeah, I can react here on my own. But and I'll have your video. I'll keep this in so that it's explained kind of well. But I might have to get off of the Zoom to play it on here.
That's cool. Well, you got the link in your email, so you
Yeah,
can just rejoin.
let me. I'll lose view of you for a sec, but you can just turn to your camera and start going on a rant. And at random points, I will just cut to you in your rant. Let's see if this works.
Word.
Wait, if I join back, does this link work?
Yeah, it should. Are you trying to like listen to one and then come back and then listen to another and then
I'll
come
probably
back
listen to both
Okay, cool.
if that's chill. You think that? I think that
Cool.
would be easier, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So option 1 and then option 2.
And then I'll jump back in.
Yup.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Update available. Not right now. All right, let's see.
Hey, folks.
So how would I get this to play?
I don't have Ben's mustache potential yet. We're getting there.
Okay. So I
We're
can
the
take
same
this.
age, but he's got better follicles than and I
I
can't
think this is gonna work.
control it. I just got to catch up. So, one day, Ben, you and I will be mustache buddies, but until then, I'm just rocking the
I think this is gonna work. Hell yeah. Oh, he left the click on. I don't need that. That's fine. Ooh.
Wow, we're going on recording for about a half hour. This is I've never done this.
Ooh. Ooh, this is tough. Oh, I gotta listen to that twice. I don't know. Okay. What if we do this, Mr. Kim? Let's go back to Zoom.
We're coming up on bar 740, just crossed. 741. We're at 120 BPM for those curious. Not that anyone would be.
Okay. We should be
Oh,
back.
here he is.
Are we back? All right.
And we're back.
Join computer audio. Can you hear me yet?
Yeah, I do.
All right, dude. Okay, so I actually have I'm so glad we did this. First off, you sent it to me with the click.
No, I did that on purpose.
Okay.
I did that on purpose so you could get a feel for the time signature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was laughing at that for the first 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But I think you should use both. The actual swing of the second one, the chop.
The second one, yeah, the chord changes come in a little earlier.
Yeah, dude. Like, I love that. But if it's actually changing chord progressions, you could have one a pre and one a chorus audio, and then have something more linear for the verses.
Yeah. The way I had it mapped out, sort of, is loop 1, which is the more where like the chord changes kind of happen on the one beat.
Yep.
More often. That one is like verse and chorus, and the pre I had as the second one, but I might just make.
We're literally we have the Zen, bro.
I might just have like the verse be 2, or the verse and pre be 2, and the chorus be 1. But the second one is a little more interesting.
If you're that close, though, just add like a 2/4 or something rather than using one of those for each, because those being different, but one of them being like more linear, still different, but more linear in a verse, gives you so many possibilities to keep that verse separate too. Because like we'll talk about, like, one of my favorite things about your music is the loop guitars, or the usual samples that you just make randomly, bro, are so freaking sick. Like,
dude, thank you.
I'm serious, bro. I love your samples. And like, that's one of the things we're literally talking on here, is like how much of a difference it makes to just make them. Because that is something that you can actually mess with too, but like chop 1 is already sick. Chop 2's, like badass, but chop 1, like you've made 2 different samples that no one else can just have. That's so cool. You know what I mean? But with that, we've also talked about like 2 of the tracks like sound similar or something, that like because of the loop. So that could be the opportunity to have verse 1 completely different chord progression. Pre is your chop 2 or chop 1, and then chorus is vice versa. That gives you like so many different changes without having to do like a whole bridge thing or a whole breakdown.
And that's the thing, yeah. And they're the same chord progression. It's just loop 2. It's like a little more groovy, a little more anticipated chord changes.
But they still start on the same one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you have a verse that's starting on a 3, or like a different, like, I'm terrible with the numbers, but if it's starting on a different actual first note than the pre and the chorus, then you have either a darker or a brighter walk into like more of your storyline in those verses. You know what I mean?
You want it to not just be a straight loop the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. And even though they change, they start the same way. So one of those like grumpy average listeners who's like, oh, it's another loop beat. Like they're not listening well enough to see how cool of a change it makes. They don't really, you know what I mean? Like they're just like, oh, it's this the whole time. They don't hear how cool of a change it has unless it's its own separate thing the entire time.
So with that in mind, I could do like, because I know loop 1 is more like dun 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 dun.
Yeah, it's like
Whereas
swingy,
loop 2,
but it's on the line still. Like
whereas loop 2 is more dun 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 dun. You know, like so I could do the dun 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 as like the introductory thing to sort of give them a head bop thing.
And then switch it on like its own separate.
Switch it in the
same. Yeah, the same thing goes. Like even if it wasn't the same for the chorus or for the verse, if it's a different 2/4 on the fucking chorus that just pulls them out, like there are so many opportunities with that. It just sounds more like it's one or the other in that sample specifically for some reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's either your verse and your pre or your pre and your chorus, but it shouldn't be all for some reason.
Word. Yeah, no, I feel you. 100%. That's kind of what I was thinking too, but I was like, I'm also trying to like figure out how to turn. Like, I hear a lot of songs that have just the same loop, same chord progression as like the backbone the whole time, and it still sounds interesting and dynamic. And I'm trying to sort of figure out how to do that, how to replicate that. But at the same time, like we talked about earlier, just do it. Like your last podcast
Shout
episode
out
is just
1,
do
bruh.
it. Like, and that's like, I saw a TikTok lately. Actually, Ariel sent this to me right when I needed to hear it. But
shout out Ariel. We're just shouting out everyone, dude.
Yeah, but she sent it was it basically this TikTok said. It's about perfectionism, basically. It's like let go of the need to do things well.
I think you sent that to me too, actually.
Yeah.
It was the guy on the microphone, like looking away from the camera. Yeah, he's like the moment you stop like holding on to the perfection, you start letting go of the things, like actually putting them out into the world, and they're no longer a waste of your effort.
Exactly. Like when I started out like making my own stuff, I thought I was so convinced, or I thought for a long time that you had to like come up with your own chord progressions you've never heard before, and using chord voicings you've never heard before, and beats that you've never heard before, and stuff like that. And I got so concerned about originality and perfectionism that I never did anything. I never finished anything because I was always so caught up on that. Where as soon as I started to like embrace the fact that, oh, this guy can't own a 1 to 4 to 5 chord progression, or like no one owns the major scale. Like what? Like
right? Not to cut you off with this, but like also at the same time, starting there gives you the opportunity to force it out of that. You know what I mean? Like anyone who starts with that, like, oh, this is mine. You know what I mean? This is something I did. If it just switches to something they could have never thought of for the chorus, you know what I mean? Or does something different. Now it's not anywhere near the same. It just has some similarities. It's like you either don't finish it because you're worried what not finishing it or what finishing it will get to, like it's going to be forced and be repetitive of something else. But if you actually don't quit on it, and that's now your motivation is not letting it sound that way, and now it's like it's way too different to be anywhere near that. You know what I mean?
And it's like it's like music itself, the combinations are infinite. Like what, like the things you can do with the major scale plus rhythms plus all those options are infinite, but what is actually like what people actually enjoy listening to and what actually sounds subjectively good to the majority of people is limited as fuck. Like
there's like have you seen
in comparison?
Yeah, no. Have you seen the there was like I don't know who said it. It was so long ago that I heard this, but someone said by now we should have ran out of like
I've heard that.
Yeah, we should have
ran out of songs by now.
We should have had everything should be repeating by now, and maybe a lot of them have.
And that's what it's doing.
Yeah, maybe a lot of them have, but there is no one expected sampling to show up. Let's start with that.
And that's another thing too. Like I'm starting to notice lately, like certain like what's considered new is just a new combination
Rebrand.
or a new presentation of like 80s, 90s stuff.
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to
The 20-year cycle's so real.
I love the music in that time frame, but there's also a sense of appreciation for it. Oh, he's number 2 down, baby. No, there's a level of respect / appreciation for it where I'm like, okay, if I'm big on like every genre, like genre's dead, like it's not like it's an issue to just jump on the new trends, but just switching your entire genre because that's in now to only that, the entire industry has just changed to 80s pop rock, and every single style, like rap. Literally a year ago, I told my little brother's roommate. I always say little brother, and he hates it because he's literally 2 years younger than me. We're both adults, but his roommate.
He's still little to you. My little brother's 2 years younger than me, and that dude is 2 years younger than me and taller than me, and he's still my little brother.
Exactly,
and he's got more money than me.
It just it just comes out like that though. Like, but his friend was like, Ben, what's something like, what's something you would predict for the future of music? And I literally said, rappers are going to go rock, full rock. Dude, I didn't expect it like it has. It was like
what fucking happened.
6 months to a year later, Trippy came out with like a rock album. Like, not actually, he had rap and stuff all over it, but there were like 4 or 5 songs that were just straight up like gleamer, shoegaze meets a little bit more grunge, with him going like, show me the thing that you want. Like, it sounds dope. Then
it reminds me a lot of like garage rock, like
yes,
good old punk that's just DIY.
And it's like every single, like, this gets into a fun conversation I've actually always wanted to have, like, on this podcast, like where we go next. I love having this conversation of like,
yes, please.
So rock and roll is not a word that means a genre. At the time, rock and roll was hand in hand with a music, but also like dope, sick, awesome.
It's a mindset.
Rock and roll. Then we shortened the word popular in 2000 to 2020, maybe like 1990s, 80s to 2021 where we are now. We have pop. And rap also, but like rap is its own, like it is its own genre. You can have pop rap, you can have pop country, you can have pop, like that's the universal one. Rock and roll was very similar to that time frame's pop.
Yeah.
It's also, pop falls into that thing that usually a young kid, their parents might be like, oh, you can't listen to that trash, that's the devil's music. Just like anyone would say that was their rock and roll, who's like 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 right now. You know what I mean? It was for my parents, and they're 60. You know what I mean? So
rock and roll is specifically it's more of a mentality than a specific sonic texture.
That pop, which maybe was rock and roll and is now pop, is now starting to pull in every genre, just like rock did, and everyone's getting tired of it. So what is, I wonder this every day, what is the new name, the new thing, and the new trend that becomes music for 20 to 50 years? You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
How long does it stay pop?
You know, and that's the thing, is like, you can never predict the future. You can never know what's going to happen. You can base your future predictions on past tendencies or past patterns, but like, it seems like things are on a serious 20-year cycle, at least in the last, ever since the 2000s. Like, I see a lot of old mixed with new, like a lot of like retro, punchy, warm drums mixed with sparkly synths.
Yep.
And
like
very
everybody's
digital,
kind of taking the best
and a
of
lot
both
of
worlds
auto-tune,
as far apart as they can find these worlds. Best of both of those.
And gluing them together with an atmosphere or something like that. There's a lot of...
No, keep going. Sorry. The echo gives me like, I hear a pause and then go, and I realize it's the Zoom 4-second thing or whatever. the one thing I don't think people are paying attention to, and this isn't for what the new name, the new pop is, but one of the new popular genres that might become its own genre that already kind of is, just meme music in general.
Meme music.
Dude, like, so let's look
I mean, define, because you can have other music that's in memes, or you can have joke music.
Let's
like
look at
music
the entire
made
spectrum.
for the purpose of being a meme.
Let's go into the entire spectrum, right? So you've got Joji, who is making beautiful music, one of my favorite artists right now. Slow Dancing in the Dark, I know it's not like from his new project, but it was still, it's one of my favorite songs to date. I love that song.
Hell yeah.
Then you've got, even connected with that, you've got Bill Murray, who actually covered that song, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's actually hilarious that they're kind of connected through that as well, because Joji started out as Pink Guy, who started out as Filthy Frank.
Meme guy.
Literally, Filthy Frank was the darkest, craziest humor you could possibly think of.
He's a human
massive
meme.
on YouTube. Everyone knew him. And it got like terrible for his headspace. Like I watched videos where it was like he disappeared from the earth because he hated how the earth saw him. Like everyone thought he was Filthy Frank, this character he had created. And so
I thought so.
yeah, no, I mean, that was all he showed on the internet. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But everybody, we're in cancel culture. Like this is a new thing. It's not a new thing, but it's new in our like little 100-year span where everybody.
No, his humor's offensive as fuck. Like me and my brothers would laugh all the time, but we'd be like, "Oh my god, he can say that."
Yeah, but there's always times throughout history where everything's okay, and then people are burnt at the stake, and we're in that tech version of that right now, where you don't lose your actual life for doing the wrong thing. You lose your like technical life, where no one gets to see you anymore in that sense. You're burned at the like the PC stake, the Wi-Fi stake, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But with him, he is like slowly starting this Pink Guy stuff, slowly getting into the music side, but they're all meme songs. And then it becomes like, I don't want to do this anymore. And he just drops all of that and starts doing his normal stuff, right? There's still a huge chance he does some Pink Guy stuff. I wouldn't doubt it, like put it past. He builds up, a good enough image. But then you bounce over to Bill Murray, and they've covered that song. Every single one of their songs is serious. Every single one of their songs is serious. There's a couple that aren't, but like they put sounds in. They put hilarious names. Eggy Pocket. Like
I love it.
You know what I mean?
I love it.
And it is genius. And like shout out freaking Will Carlson first off.
Look, the homie.
Just absolute badass. I'm going to just put his name all over this, just everywhere.
He's the guy who taught me that 4K is bad.
Yeah, if you want to just like, if you just want to be like, I want to make cool things and I suck, go follow Will Carlson on Instagram. That dude is just a badass.
And that's the thing too, is like, yeah, he's like, and that's a Columbus bro. Like I've known him since he was an intern with another producer that I used to go to.
That's what's so crazy, dude, to know like these people now, where it was like they were just people like us, you know what I mean? And now we're all doing the same thing.
With Will, like, my phone just, I'm no longer able to record video. Apparently, I'm out of storage.
You out of storage?
It's all good. We can just cut it from here, and it's been 40 minutes anyway.
I can, I can switch to where I'm like screen recording your Zoom. Maybe
it's up to you, man. I'm not. That's up to you.
We'll lose video for just a little bit, and we'll finish just with like a little bit more confident. We won't just cut it off because it's one half of like this is just audio anyways. So. We'll just have the combo here and lose the video for, a little bit. But we can wrap it up soon anyways, since we lost that. But, dude, with all this connection, like Will Carlson and all this, where were you?
I still had never met Will face to face or like really gotten to know him or anything. I just heard his name a bunch in regards to audio stuff. But anyway, while we were recording this with Micah, Will was tuning all of our vocals on the side. So Micah would send Will the vocals, and he would melodyne him and send him back, and like he was just kind of interning, just doing like the random shit work that the Micah didn't want to do. But anyway,
and now you fast forward
dude, a year after that, Will like started his own little production company and started recording big people and is like putting out really fucking good alt rock mixes and stuff like
Really
that.
good.
And I'm like, this kid, he's a Logic kid. But anyway, long story short, now he works with Bill Murray, Johnny Frank. He's really, really tight with Johnny
Just
Frank. If the
absolute
listeners don't know,
success story that doesn't really. He's not that
Right.
person just trying to like shove it in anyone's face. He's just
and
literally
he's such a
Will
humble
Carlson.
guy.
Yeah, it's
He's
awesome.
just one of those guys that's just like, I love doing what I love doing.
Dude,
and
I
I'm
have to
blessed
get
be
him
able
on
to do
this
it.
because we could literally
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about the same thing with like the meme music. How they don't. It's not like they don't take it seriously. They probably take it more seriously than most.
No, that's the thing. Is like that. It's like they put so much thought into it.
Yep.
Like they will like the music itself is so good. It's so brilliant. It pushes boundaries. It mixes 5 genres
Yeah,
so
dude.
well in a way
Crazy.
that's like it's like they call it bangers for sad people and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's literally what it is.
You know. It's just but like the music is really good, but they just put ridiculous names like Post Almond Clarity,
Yeah, dude.
Large Throbbing Positive Mindset, Midwest Lawn Care Dads Who Smash Brews,
Dude, I forgot
Lift
all
Heavy
about those.
Stone, Make Sad Head Voice Quiet, you know,
so
shit like
good,
that, and
dude.
it's all caps and all one word, and it's and the artwork is just like super saturated,
Cranking
super,
my
like,
MF hog.
yeah, cranking my or just egg,
Yeah,
like
dude.
like, and he doesn't take himself too seriously, but at the same time, you can tell he really puts a lot of
He's
thought into it
taking the
because
right
people love
things
that.
seriously. He's literally
People
like
love that.
No, everyone loves it. Like, but he's taking the right things seriously. We take everything so seriously. Like, I am so scared about the name and being afraid to put the name perfectly on, a new podcast episode that I'll waste a day trying to figure that out when the entire audio is perfect. You know what I mean? Like it's a 99% loading screen. And I am the last 1% that's finding that way to take something too seriously. You have to like figure out what doesn't matter and what really does and start relocating all of that effort. And
100%.
dude, we've got to have I definitely need a one-on-one with Will, but we should have a little 3-way.
That'd be sick. Yeah, I'm always down. Like that's the thing is like he could speak. He's real Yoda. Like that's what I like. His turnaround time is impeccable.
Oh my goodness.
Like, and he's really taught me a lot about just the mindset of doing music as a job. And one of those being, if you can get it done in 5 minutes, do it now.
Yeah. My
Or
voice
if you
cracked
can
so
get
bad.
it done in some short period of time, just do it. Because like it's very like I take on clients and I do a lot of client work, but it's easy for me to just kind of put it off until they hit me up and bug me about it. But he's like,
I could not relate more.
Send him the mix and send him a deposit, or not even a deposit.
No, you don't even have to. He does
like
it because he knows.
he'll just send it right back within about 24 to 48 hours on average, of course, and you can be like, dude, send this whenever I'm on no time frame, and
For
he'll
real.
still send it back within 6 hours. Like it's crazy.
We have spent
man-
like this entire last 10 minutes just talking about how dope Will Carlson is.
Will Carlson, if you're listening, I love you,
Dude.
and you deserve the world.
I've got to send him. I'm gonna have to send him this link because the entire end
Yeah.
of this podcast is just a shout out to the homie, bro. Literally, we'll close with this and we'll be
Yeah,
good. So I
man.
know we lost the video, but it's still I've had a blast. This has been a great episode.
Me too,
but-
man. I'm glad you wanted me on here. Like that's the thing is like you and I can just talk for hours.
Oh yeah.
and just go on so many tangents, but
There
it's
is no,
all-
just know, we didn't go over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the 30-minute thing that I've been aiming for is not for one-on-one conversations or, 3-person conversations. The one with Devin and Dawson will be like an hour long. And,
Oh, hell yeah.
I want to have multiple, just sit down and just go wherever our crazy split brains take us.
I love
That
it.
is the plan. So dude, notice we asked a couple questions here, but I was talking about, here's a great way to end it actually. I was talking
Okay.
about the kind of where I'm settling in to this podcast, because I was really worried about what it was when I started it. And it was one of those little things that really kept me from just jumping in and diving in. Now I'm in it. I have everything I need for it, and I am having a blast. But I would stop because I didn't know what the podcast was. I was like, it can't just be music, life, and laughs like that. It's just, but yes, it can. I've changed it to deep music.
Exactly. I'm like, why not? Like,
I've changed it to deep music, deep life, and deep laughs, which I love actually. But
100%.
at the end of the podcast, which I'm still wearing the same outfit from, we did 2 podcasts today, so those 2 episodes will be in the exact same outfit. But at the end
called
of it,
hustle.
Exactly. At the end of it, we're talking about like what I want out of this, and Devin just goes, "Oh wow, like we've been talking for an hour. How many questions have you asked?" And I was like, "None." Like I want everyone to genuinely be able to be them in this little space. Like I have my own image that I have fallen into portraying on social media. And you do too, Devin, Dawson, everyone who has social media has that. And I want to be breaking that basically through this with like, if you're on this, we are just talking. I'm not going to riddle you with like interview questions. It's not going to be a bunch of stuff like that. It's just us being real for an hour. You know what I mean? And like, I feel like not only does that give so many people better views of the, you know, artists they might look up to, but also gives that artist like a break. Like you're not going to hop on here and have to put on that smile and do some BS. You know what I mean? Like it's supposed to just be, we're talking about whatever we're talking about. Luckily for both of us, we got into some great music talks on this one.
Oh yeah.
It really doesn't, it's not
it.
Limited to that. You know what I mean?
No. And
Dude.
that's the thing. And that's what I love about you, man. Like you're one of those Yodas for real. Like you're one of those people who's like very grounding and very, very like, yes, we're all like, you're very good at culminating talent and bringing them down to earth in the best way.
I hope that's a good thing.
It is a very good thing. No,
that.
it's a very good thing because like, I mean, sure, all talented people beat themselves up and are their own worst critic, but a lot of time, like sometimes it's good to just be a human with someone else.
Okay, no, I totally get that. I really
be
love
a
that.
human.
Yeah, no, that's all I want in this, honestly.
Share experiences and share some insight and some things we've learned along the way, and compare and contrast and. You know, just have meaningful conversations that I didn't even realize 52 minutes have just passed, you know?
Exactly. Like you're not checking like, oh, how many more of these are happening? Like we're just talking until, you know, about an hour, and not even limited to that. We're just having, dude, like human conversation. And I want that so bad. So I'm glad we're starting out with that, dude.
And I can say I listen to a decent amount of podcasts too, especially like, I mean, a lot of them music related, but a lot of them just willy-nilly whatever. And it's like being able, like, cause I know there are other people listening like that, like people like us who we don't even know about, who we haven't even met, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And who are listening to this looking for inspiration. Like I do when I go when I go to a music podcast, I'm looking for some fire under my ass. Like, and this might be that for one person out there,
dude. And that's like so cool too for me. Like, and even if it's not even motivating them to go do something crazy with music, if it just kind of motivates them to like step out of that comfort bubble of like who you're putting on and just be. It
doesn't have to be music. It's just anything that you pursue in life, like. All these lessons all these things can be applied. Like, yeah,
just do it as
we're not talking about compression and mixing. We're talking about like being satisfied with our lives.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't need to waste an hour of someone's time talking about like what plugin, like EQ plugins going to give the least amount of feedback, like high end noise. Like no one wants to talk about that. But that that can come up in a willy-nilly conversation, and 100%. Now it's interesting and it's a piece. But it's just it all goes into things like that. Like it's just I'm very excited with where we're starting off, and
honestly, I'm proud of you, bro. Like I know you've been talking about this for a while, and I know that you're a podcast type of person because you got a lot to say, and a lot of different ways to say it, and just a lot of desire to connect with people and put these conversations out there, because I'll have a lot of conversations with people, you included, and where I'm like, man, if me 5 years ago could hear this conversation right now, I would learn so much.
And I bet you there's like a 10-year-old you scrolling around Spotify that like hopefully we just run into, you know what I mean? And he's like, hey,
you never know.
I can be me, you know, especially with how young, you know, how young kids are on social media, you know what I mean? Like it's it's everyone on earth has social media, has this bubble. It's so weird.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know for a fact, like, people, like, my little brother, and he's, like, 17 and a senior in high school, he's got friends who are trying to get into music, and they look up to me, and they listen to my stuff.
And that's
they
crazy,
and they go to my content, and my friends' content, you included. And, like, the people we look up to, we are them to them.
It's crazy, bro.
It's nuts, and I feel not worthy. I'm like, I'm seriously just some random kid in my parents' basement trying his best.
I am just a dude with a limp and a really sensitive ear.
You're walking now, though.
I am, dude.
I saw you going up and down the stairs like it's nothing.
Bro, it is nice. I am like, for the first time in like 8 months, like for a week or two, I've been walking around like, wow, I have some strength coming back in my feet. Like I can actually walk. And the stronger the shoes get too, I'm realizing like I can just look normal and I have speed again. It's really just about how much support I'm giving the foot, but I'm very, very excited to be almost back to like.
It's good to see the process almost come to a finish.
Oh yeah. But all of that, like, that's in the future. For now, we're in the present, and I'm with Cam Becker. Do you have anything you would want to plug right now? You got any band stuff you want to talk about?
LDD, we just put out a new single called Better Left Out a couple weeks ago.
Dope.
Thank you, buddy. Mixed and mastered by Will Carlson, the guy
Will Carlson, the magician.
Yes, sir. So we've got that out. You can look up Cam Becker on everywhere you get your music, and I'm there.
Do
you
it.
Can look
Go
up
play
Liberty
Better's
Deep
good
Down.
for me.
Yeah, oh yeah, that too.
Ben
Better's
and-
good for me.
Ben
This
and
me and
Cam
this man
Becker.
literally the first thing we ever wrote together, like the first time we ever like really like hung out, and it was over FaceTime.
We hadn't really talked about anything life-wise. Like we just hopped into a write and then talked for an hour beforehand. You know
it
what
was
I mean?
great. And it came out, and the result was one of my favorite songs I've ever been a part of. Seriously, and
I think it still makes my mom cry to this day.
It still makes me cry. Shit.
Every once in a while, it gets that tear rolling, bro.
And we're working on a lot of stuff here and there too. We've got a lot of ideas and stuff that we're still trying. But hey, knowing that that's where we come from, like that was the starting point, and we've worked on so much else since then. But anyway, as far as like a closing out plug, yeah, just look up Liberty Deep Down and Cam Becker on everywhere you go, and look
Frickin'
up
do it.
Ben Becker as well, because
Nah.
They're already in the world. Shut up.
They're already on with Ben Becker. They don't need the Ben Becker plug. I do that enough with every time. Like I'm about to do right here by saying, Cam Becker, I'm so thankful that you were with Ben Becker tonight. And to the listeners,
I'm thankful to be with Ben Becker tonight.
Hey, I am thankful you were with Ben Becker, and I'm thankful the listeners were too. I love all of the people in this situation. That's my closing now. It's just I freaking love you.
Just all the love everywhere, man. I love you too. And I love everyone listening. And
we love everything.
Even though we're hundreds of miles apart, we're still closer than ever, my guy.
Air kisses through the screen. Kiss me through the screen. Kiss me through the Zoom.
Through the screen.
All
through
right.
the Zoom.
That's a terrible ender. I ruined it.
Uh-oh. Two of these claws are hitting.
Thank you for real. I had a blast.
You too, buddy. Appreciate you, man.
This was a great one. Thank you for chilling with Ben Becker. Peace.
Yes. And it's out.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now with Ben Becker.
Hey, you little pretty little thing. Yeah, that's not a great intro, but whatever. It's fine. I hope you loved that, because I freaking love you, okay? And that means I'm doing my job by making something that you can also love. If you really did enjoy this, I'm begging you. You gotta go like it. You gotta go subscribe or follow, whether you're on Spotify or YouTube. And definitely make sure you jump on that Instagram game at with Ben Becker on Instagram.
Come on, it's that easy. All the names are so easy. Nobody else wants to be with Ben Becker on a name, but everybody wants to be with Ben Becker in the podcast. We pulled it all around. I love you.